Hey guys, it's PHYRRA, and today I'm bringing you my Pale Girl's Guide to Contouring and Highlighting. First things first, I want to tell you that in my personal opinion, you do not need a contouring palette unless you are a makeup artist. If you're just an average person, you're really only going to need one or two products to contour and a couple products to highlight. So with that in mind, I went out and I bought a bunch of palettes, as you know, to create like the ultimate sort of highlight contour palette video type thing. So I'm going to talk about each of the palettes. Most of these I bought myself. A couple things are press samples. I will note which ones are press samples so there's no confusion. So the first palette I want to show you is the Anastasia Contour Palette. It has 6 shades. It contains 0.66 ounces of product. And this palette is $40, and really, I personally am not a fan of these highlighting colors on pale skin like mine, so I wouldn't use them, and these are all too dark and warm for me, so again, I wouldn't use them. I think if you have light to medium skin, this would probably be a great palette for you. I'm still not too sure about these shades because, like I said, I feel like they're too orange, but if you have a deeper skin tone than mine, it may work for you. I think if you are a fan of Anastasia, what you would be better off doing is going to her website and purchasing individual shades. I've looked at her website. The swatches are not, it's not easy for me to tell what might work because I thought fawn would work, but for me, I feel like fawn just doesn't look right. But she has a bunch of different shades that you can buy individually, so if you just want one or two of these shades, you can definitely pick them up on her website. And her refill pans are only with $14, so rather than spending, you know, $40 for 6 shades where you might only use 1 or 2, why not just buy the 2 individual shades that you would use? The next palette that I have to show you is the Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette, and this palette is $46, and it contains 0.72 ounces of product. And as you can see, again, these are really warm shades. If you have light to medium skin, this will probably look great on you. But for me personally, I didn't find it very flattering. The highlighter shades are okay, but they're, again, not shades I personally would reach for. So I think this is, if you have pale skin like mine, you're going to want to skip this and go towards individual shades that might work better for you. I do feel like the Kat Von D palette is an excellent value for the price. I feel like you get a ton of product, and I think that the actual quality of the product you get is that they feel very silky. They're easy to apply, so I think if you like the colors and they work for you, this is a really great palette, but it's not one that works for me. The next palette I have to show you is the NYX Conceal Correct Contour Palette, and this is light. It comes in 3 shades. This is a cream palette. And this one isn't bad if you, because of all the different shades that are available in the concealer, you may actually find it really useful because there's like a pink shade, kind of a peachy shade. Again, it's too dark for me to contour with, and the lightest shade isn't light enough for me. But I do think that because it's cream and you can mix these together easily, it's good for color correcting. So if you have light skin, you might like this a lot. But if you're pale like me, you'd probably be like, you wouldn't use it. Then again, though, it's only 12 bucks, so you're only out $12 if you don't like it. The next palette I have to show you is a press sample. All the other ones I've purchased. This is the Ofra Cream Contour Palette. This palette is $79, and if you look, you can tell why. The pans are huge. I mean, I believe that each one of these pans is 10 grams each, so that's like 60 grams of product. These things are freaking huge, and they're vegan. Again, too dark for me, too warm for me. So if you're a makeup artist, this would probably be a great cream palette for you. But for me, it's not gonna work. So I do like that it has a plastic cover that you can put on top of the cream so it doesn't dry out. And in addition to that plastic cover, it has a magnetic closure that keeps it closed very tight, so this is not going to dry out, which is really nice. This next book I purchased, it's the Kevin Aquan, The Art of Sculpting and Contouring, and I really like this one. Of all the contour palettes that I purchased and that I was sent for review, this is the one that I would recommend. I get 0.36 ounces of product, so it's really expensive and you get the smallest amount of product. However, I feel like the colors in this one are the most useful. Let me open them up so I can show it to you. The white here actually is light enough for my skin so I can use it. This color is light enough for my skin so I can use it. This is almost like a light blush type color. The contour shade, which also doubles as a brow powder, works on my skin tone. This shade is too warm, but it could be used, I guess, as an eyeshadow. This shade would be good for my brows. So it comes with 6 different powders. I could actually use all 6 of them. So even though this is the most expensive of the palettes, this is the one that I like the best that I purchased. It also comes with instructions on contouring, and it talks about how the pictures are very exaggerated, so don't load up the product like that. And one of the things I do find useful about it is that it really does give you, like, it breaks down the lesson for the eyes and trying to contour for eye shape as well as your face. But because it has such little product, I mean, like I said, it's on the pricey side. Right now, while Sephora has the, 15% off for the VIBs going on, would be a good time to pick up this book. Now, all that said, being a pale girl, don't despair. Just because most of the palettes out there are not for you, or at least they're not for me, I have a couple products that you absolutely have to see, which I think would look great. So first I'm going to talk about highlighting. If you want to highlight with a cream, this is the Graftobian Highlights palette, and it's the Ultra Lights palette. So it has Silk Sprite, Nymph, Porcelain, Lady Fair, and Ivory. And in addition to being able to use this as foundation, you can use this as concealer, and you can use it to highlight in the face. And so you would use it in like the triangle shape if you were trying to do like extreme highlighting and contouring. I also have Ilamasqua. This is Skin-Based Lift in white, and this is exactly what it sounds like. It's a white, like, cream concealer highlighter. So you would put this along here if you were going to highlight with it. As an individual product, it works really well. There's also OCC Skin Conceal. This is shade RO. I would use shade RO to actually use it under my eyes to help with dark circles. So this is a good one to use. This is It Cosmetics Hello Light Cream Illuminator, and it's gorgeous. Actually, let me just swatch this on the back of my hand for you. Like a glow right there in my hand. It's very subtle, which is why I don't use it very often. Apparently, I don't like subtle highlighters. This is Becca Cosmetics Pearl. Let me show you this one because, again, this is a white highlighter. There you go. My favorite highlighter is Osteomancy by Notoriously Morbid. Here, it's like a silvery white with maybe like a hint of blue. And yeah, it's very in your face, but I love it. And this is Too Faced Candlelight Glow Duo, one of my all-time favorite highlighters. And that one is actually more of like a white gold pink. You can see those 4 highlighters and how the It Cosmetics and Becca are pretty much on the subtle side, and the Notoriously Morbid and Too Faced are on the more like obvious side, whichever you prefer. I did have a couple other highlighters to show you. This is NARS Albatross. This is one that people always love. It's a strong golden sheen. This is one of my favorites, Tarte Champagne. Sort of like a light peachy gold again. And this is Hourglass Ethereal Light. This is way too subtle for my taste. It's really, really pretty right here. So now that I showed you my favorite highlighters, I'm going to talk about some contouring products for pale skin. First I have Life's Entropy contour sticks, and I have 2 shades to show you. I'm going to show you the shade Proton first. So this is Proton, and it's a cream. It looks much more natural on pale skin than most other products that I've tried. So that's Alpha, this the one up here. And this is M Cosmetics Chiaroscuro Stick in Fair. This is actually one of the best products that M Cosmetics makes, and Fair actually is a really good match for fair skin. I'm not a fan of the highlighter because I feel like the highlighter is too subtle for my taste. But this is the Fair side for contouring. There it is, blended in a little bit. The other cream product I want to show you is John Doe, and this is by OCC. Here it is on my hand. And I think, these 4 look pretty natural on pale skin. So those are the 4 cream products that I wanted to show you for contouring on pale skin. Next I want to show you my favorite powder products for contouring on pale skin. One product I don't have to show you is NYX Taupe because I gave it to my friend Corinne, but that's like a great drugstore powder product for contouring if you have pale skin. If you can get to Ulta, you can pick up NYX Taupe. They just re-released it in the new HD formula. But my all-time favorite is the Pumpkin and Poppy Oak Bark Contour Powder. You can see it right there in my hand, and it's pretty much perfect. Like, it looks like a natural shadow on my hand. This is Notoriously Morbid Necromancy. You have to use a very light hand with it because it is extremely pigmented. You can see it's extremely pigmented, and I built it up just a little bit. And the last powder product I want to show you is NARS Olympia. This is also a pressed sample. This one I sort of treat like a contouring blush. So I would apply it more like right in this area as opposed to a true contour, because it's a little warm to contour, at least on my skin tone it is. But I like the product a lot. See it right there on the top of my hand. Now that I've showed you everything, and I know I showed you a lot of products, to recap, if you have pale skin like I do and you want to go with a palette, I highly recommend the Kevyn Aucoin palette, even though it's expensive, because I believe you'll be able to get the most use out of all the shades. If you have light to medium skin, I recommend that you go with the Kat Von D palette, because I think that you would probably get the most use out of it, and it has a lot of product for the price. So for cream contouring products, I recommend that you look at OCC's John Doe, which is a really great shade match, Life's Entropies Particle Contour Sticks, or the M Cosmetics Chiaroscuro Stick in Fair, because it actually is meant for fair skin. I was really impressed. For highlighting for cream products, if you are wanting a subtle highlight or like a skin tone type of highlight, I recommend that you look at the Graftobian Highlights palette or OCC's RO or YO, depending on your skin tone color. If you're wanting a subtle cream highlighter that doesn't match your skin tone, but it's like a white, I definitely recommend Becca Pearl or the IT Cosmetics Hello Light Cream Illuminator, because these are very subtle, but they're on the light side. So for powder contouring products for pale skin, I recommend the Pumpkin and Poppy Oak Bark Contour Powder. I recommend the Notoriously Morbid Necromancy Powder, or the NARS Olympia Contour Palette. For powder highlighting, I recommend Too Faced Candlelight Glow Duo, Notoriously Morbid Osteomancy, which is my favorite. It's what I'm wearing right now. Or if you want a subtle highlight, try the Hourglass Ethereal Light. So anyway, I definitely think that if you have pale skin, there are options available. It's just that you really have to go kind of pick and choose, and you can't necessarily just go pick up a palette at Sephora. So as you probably know from watching my channel or reading my blog, I always highlight. I love highlighting, but I don't always contour. But what about you? Do you highlight and contour every day, or do you do one or the other? Definitely let me know in the comments below. I want to hear what you use. And if you haven't already, be sure you subscribe to my channel. I make new videos on Tuesdays and Fridays and sometimes in between. Thanks so much for watching.